welcome to something a little bit different. I was cleaning out some old notebooks and sketchbooks and stuff because I was trying to find one that was mostly not used, to put some new research in for a new book that I'm working on. When I was in uni, I got into doing this because this was actually part of the project that we had to hand in. So you had to make a book of your influences, of your research, to hand in alongside the novel that you were writing. And this is one that I put together on my undergraduate course. So this is from about 2012, I want to say, maybe 2012. I actually got a really good mark on this one. I think it's the best one I ever did. Just tooting my own horn a little bit. A lot of effort went into this. I was very enthusiastic. Basically what this is a collection of reference images, research, reviews and things that we did surrounding the book that we were trying to write, to show that we, really put some work in on trying to work out what our book was going to be like, what it was similar to, how it would be marketed, all that good stuff. And this is the one for Waywood, in case you hadn't, guessed that. Which I've hung on to because, like I said, put a lot of work into it, and it was just in a box with all my other uni stuff. So I thought it'd be nice to show you guys some of the images that inspired the characters, some of the photographs that I took, because a lot of the locations in Waywood are based on real places. So we'll be able to see that kind of thing, and I thought that might be interesting to any of you who are enjoying the Waywood story. So here we go. This is just like a collection of inspirational images that I had. This is obviously from a graphic novel. I've helpfully put a thing in there. That's my name. It's not a secret because all my books are published under my real name. And this is a quote that I put in here because it's something we used to get told a lot. This is actually from a uni worksheet, and it says, "Nothing is original. Steal from anywhere that resonates with inspiration or fuse your imagination. Devour old films, new films, music, books, paintings, photographs, poems, dreams, random conversations, architecture, bridges, street signs, trees, clouds, bodies of water, blah de blah de blah. Authenticity is invaluable, originality is non-existent, and don't bother concealing your thievery. Celebrate it if you feel like it. In any case, always remember what Jean-Luc Godard said. It's not where you take things from, it's where you take them to." Which is sort of, I guess, the ethos behind doing these books, and I quite pretentiously put that in the cover. There we go. I love cutting things out of magazines. My books of shadows always look like this and have pictures and stuff in them. So I guess this is just something that I'm into. So these were ideas, just images that kind of spoke to me, inspirations for the character of Michaela, characters of Sophia here, taken from different things. I think this is from the Runaways comic, so that might be Nico. So yeah, a lot of just inspiration things. I read a lot of teen magazines as well when I was coming up with my storylines. So this came out of a DVD copy of The Craft. It was obviously one of my big inspirations. We've got some starter ideas here, reasons people might have run away, sort of plot prompts. These are photographs that I don't believe I took. I think this came from, these came from a prospectus for the university I went to. So this is like the main house at Bath University, where a lot of the admin offices are. This, I think, is rear main house. The library is actually next to this. It kind of looks the same. This is a building, I think it's mentioned. They go and see it all sort of lit up with all the stained glass panels. It's really beautiful at night. This is the lake, and the lake building where Michaela and Craig go to hang out. We used to walk around this lake a lot because it was probably one of the only things to do on campus. Here is another prospectus photo. This is the Italian garden, I think, that they go to. I think later on in the book. We might not have gotten there yet. And this is just a general map of the campus, which was obviously really helpful. So here you've got the dairy and the stable, the students' union, and the halls of residence where Michaela does her thieving. And this little road here leads all the way down to the village, and that's where their house is. This is just a story from a magazine, a teen magazine I think, or Cosmo or something, which was basically about someone being disowned for being gay. Obviously that factored into the storylines that I chose to use for the other characters. Then we've got some web research I did on teenagers and statistics and things, reasons why they might run away, things they might do to survive, an idea for the hierarchy of the coven. These are some rules that I actually wrote for the coven. I did not remember this. I don't think these are actually used in the book explicitly, but obviously some of them carried over. So there's like, never ever give away information about the group, its practices, or the location of the house. Never question the authority of the leader or her lieutenants. Never use coven teachings against other members of the group. Do not fraternise with those outside of the group. All relationships must be approved by the leader to prevent discord. Uniform must be worn at all times. The group is your new family, your new judicial system. School and church, no form or organisation should be allowed to bog you down. So all these things are obviously massive red flags for any real group, but obviously I sort of put those together. I think I did some research into cults as well, and might have cribbed some ideas from that. Oh, here we go, characteristics of cult groups. So obviously I've gone through here, there's like zealous, mind-altering practices, permissions you need from the leader, various other things, so that's pretty interesting research. This is basically again about teenagers being kicked out, gang recruitment, because obviously this organisation they're in is somewhere between a cult and a street gang. Then some more notes on the structure. You've got the leader Sophia, Lieutenants Ilex and Chronicle, the initiates / grunts who are Cray and all the others, and then the recruits. They were originally going to be called Wanderers. I don't think I put that in the book. So there we go. This is Youth and the Occult, real life examples of witch and vampire crimes, because I wanted to tie it into that. This is obviously to do with like blood, sacrifice and stuff. This is to do with like a vampire cult and murderers and things like that who had like vampire and witch occult crimes. So I've obviously printed this off the web. Just general crimes and things that were relevant to what I was talking about. This is a little review of Junk by Melvin Burgess. It was really important when I was writing the book because obviously that deals with a lot of teen runaway stuff. And this is actually something that I took these pictures myself. I am not this person. I think they're just a dog walker who was in my way. This basically marks the entire route that Cray and Michaela took so that I have reference images. So this is actually something you see as you take the bus up to campus, and then obviously it follows along. Here there's the stream. This is the village that they go through to get to Waywood House. There's a church there. I don't think that's mentioned in the book. This here is like a road out of the village, and this is the hill that you go up to get to the abandoned house. And here is the abandoned house. I think this is the best picture that I could get of it. It does exist. I'm not sure if it does anymore, but this picture was taken I think in 2012. So that's Waywood House. This is all about like the locations, stuff to do with vampirism. I think I was toying with the idea of them being vampires because I'd already started writing something else that was to do with like a vampire cult, which I actually never finished. But Chronicle and Ilex, I think I've mentioned before, were characters in that. Chronicle was initially meant to be a sort of outlier of the vampire community who drank blood but received psychic visions from it and helped the police with their investigations of crime. It was kind of a wacky idea. So Chronicle and Ilex, Ilex was initially her like enemy in that story. They got transplanted into this book. Here we have Tithe by Holly Black, probably one of my favourite YA books. I might review that for the podcast, but it's more about fairies than it is about witchcraft. So that's another source that I had. I had this idea that they'd all have this tattoo, kind of like a stick and poke thing where they'd like do it themselves. No idea what happened to that. Some more stuff about Tithe. Here we go. This is about someone dropping out of uni, so that's obviously Campion's backstory. This is a writing exercise where we talk about what people love and people hate, so that we get to know them. Chapter by chapter synopsis. A character questionnaire that I printed off from online and answered. And here we get some pictures of things that I like, or people rather, not things, that I thought were kind of similar to my main character. So here we have a picture from, I think that's Scott Pilgrim. I've never seen that movie, but I saw this in a magazine, and the pink hair kind of made me think of Michaela, and I thought this picture was quite nice as well. Then I did a writing exercise for Michaela, where basically you just do what is the most important object in her bag, what does she want, what stands in her way, just to get to know your character. These were some of my images for Cray. As you can see, he's kind of hipsterish character, kind of floppy haired. I think I eventually moved on to kind of a different look for him, but the kind of hipsterish vibe continued. This is Sophia, these kind of ethereal, witchy looking people. Originally she was meant to be an actual person, which you kind of see in the book is not the way things panned out, but originally she did have a backstory. These are passages that I took in to be workshopped. This is what you did, you printed off bits of your work and people would read them, make notes on them, and make comments. So I would change things. Then we got some plot development, character bios, some things. I think at some point I was going to do a mass poisoning at the university, and that never happened. There are so many ideas that just never make it into books. It's just insane. Here are some problem pages from a teen magazine to get voices, diaries, things about abusive relationships. Oh wow, okay, so I drew a map. This is kind of cool. So obviously this is the driveway to the university. I've numbered where I took my pictures. This book is making me sort of start to look like a serial killer. The field, the houses, that's kind of cool. And then inside we've got our map of the inside of the house. Because obviously when you're making up a house, you need to kind of remember where you put rooms and what you said was next to something else. This is not the most complex one I've done. A lot of other ones have deluxe paint charts in them, because I'm terrible for saying that a room was blue and then it changes colour depending on how I'm feeling later. So yeah, I have to remind myself of those. We've got more workshop notes, lots of different things. I don't know why it's going in reverse order. I've put a thing here that tells you how to use semicolons, because that's an arcane mystery to me. Various other things. And then a couple, but not many, blank pages at the end. Just seen something tucked into these. I've no idea what it was. And then a bunch of stuff I've just put in the back. I think that's more workshop notes. Oh, okay, these are extracts from stuff that my tutor had actually written and then gave us to look at, which I have kept for some reason. Not that they weren't good, but you know, I don't know why I have them some 8 years later. So there it is, that is Waywood. I hope that was marginally entertaining for any of you who are sort of interested in the characters and where they came from, and also maybe people who are writing their own teen fiction and stuff. Having books like this is really helpful. I like having lots of visual things to draw on. I see my characters sometimes in other characters in TV and films, so it's helpful for me to look at the pictures and remember what kind of character that I've sort of built out of these pieces of other people. I've just started one for the book that I'm currently writing. Here's a map that I just hashed out and painted, so I can remember whereabouts things are on this island. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that tour through my notebook, and let me know if you'd be interested in a tour of maybe like my Book of Shadows. I have my old Book of Shadows from when I was a teenager. I might do a walkthrough of that because there's a lot of stuff in there that's a little bit embarrassing. But in the meantime, I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye!